welcome once again to another edition of Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 33-year veteran comics creator, editor, science fiction, fantasy, horror, role-playing game creator, editor. It's time for Monday Manga. I know I've sounded a little bit out of it today. It's been a rough day. Weather's been bad, and I only barely got myself up at 4 o'clock. That's how bad I've been feeling today, but we're going to get through this. As you can see, I'm wearing a Babylon 5 t-shirt. Why would I wear a Babylon 5 t-shirt when we're talking about manga? That's my tip of the hat to the late Peter David, who passed away this weekend. I'm not going to go too long into this. I said pretty much what I needed to say on my Facebook page. So if you want to know what I had to say about Peter, go to my Facebook page, Lewis.BrightRaven on Facebook. But I just he's going to be missed greatly by a lot of people, and it was sad and aggravating the way he departed, because he was sick for a long time and couldn't get all the medical care he deserved because of the way our system works in this country. So I'm a little bit upset with that, but it is what it is, and we just wish his family all the best. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the show. We're reviewing Adam the Beginning 3 and Volumes 3 and 4, $12.99 each. Publisher is Stonebot Manga Titan. Original story by Osamu Tezuka. Writer is Masami Yuiki, with translation by Jonathan Clements and Motoko Tamamura. Art by Tetsuro Kasahara. Lettering by Jessica Burton and Caleb Ward. Supervisor Makoto Tezuka and Tezuka Productions. Genre science fiction, heroic fiction. This was released February 21st, 2023. What it's about. The mystery continues. After facing down Mars at the robot wrestling competition, our plucky heroes have continued to investigate the deadly robot's enigmatic creator, Dr. Lolo, tracing her whereabouts to a mysterious military installation on an isolated island. What deadly terrors and buried secrets will they discover there? Honestly, after reading 3 full books of this series, the series is diverging massively for what could be a predecessor to Astro Boy, and is becoming its own separate thing from the Astro Boy timeline. This was supposed to be the story that takes place before Astro Boy is created. The story's good. It's not bad. It's quite good, but it just doesn't feel like it's delivering what I thought was originally advertised. Just my opinion. The art is looser in this volume, and it seems like Kasahara is experimenting a bit with caricature and expression in the faces of the characters, which, good thing, not a bad thing. Results are mixed, but it's better that he's exploring and expanding as an artist and trying to grow as the series progresses than rely on tried and true techniques. I'm trying to find the right pages here to show you guys. Here we go. All right. It just looks stale to the audience if you keep going to the same tropes and the same styles and poses and stuff like that. So I'm glad he didn't do that. So the best examples of that growth is when he has Yumataro and Hiroshi arguing in front of the college professors who have come to review their lab. The professors and their shapes, sizes, facial features, and expressions are absolutely hilarious to look at, and yet they retain a certain amount of visual gravitas that is indicative of their stature and the threat they pose to the duo's research. I still think Yumataro is too much of a jerk in this series compared to the version that we see in Astro Boy, and I just can't wrap my mind around how they're going to get this version of the character to the one that's in Astro Boy. but there's still quite a bit to go. I mean, there's at least 6 volumes more to go. So there's always a chance. But that's a major part why I feel like this is its own divergent timeline. And I still find myself interested more in the robots than the human cast, and I hope that changes. This was a brisk read. I read it in 33 minutes for 208 pages. And while the action was consistent and solid throughout, it had good character development and conflict. It just felt rather light on the plot for a 200-page plus story with 5 chapters of story in it. I am really wondering if there's more to the original Japanese version and that I'm missing out in translation. I don't know. Anyway, I give this one a 3.5 stars. Let's take a quick look at some of the art. What I was talking about for the caricatures, you can see the big nose for Hiroshi versus the small nose for Tomorrow. And then here come all the doctors and their different shapes and characterizations, and they look quite unique in their own way. And they're complaining about the mess that is their lab. They're going to cut their funding and all this stuff. And of course, they start arguing about not just the money for the lab work, but arguing over the whole purpose of what they're doing. It's interesting for that. Get back into the back of the book where they get to the actual military installation, and Six, the robot, has to fight this giant. Only, of course, he doesn't want to fight. He wants to communicate with it. And once he does, they open up new information for the next issue. Now, again, it's a little bit less quality than the first two, mostly because I said it's light on plot for this issue. They kind of make up for it in the next one, so let's go ahead and get into it. Volume 4 is the same creative team, but the lettering is by Jonathan Stevenson. Well, it's about more robot madness awaits, perfect for mecha fans of all ages. The military base is indeed holding secrets as Six and his human friends face down a terrifying military robot Ivan, which is the one you saw he was facing. There at the end, our robot with a heart of gold hears a strange cry for help from inside the Sentinel soldier. What did I think? Despite a rousing battle between Six and Ivan in the opening chapter of the volume, this is the quietest volume of the series so far. Part of it is to let the reader take a breather from the action that has been going on in the first 3, but most of it is that they're taking time to do an info dump on the audience. They delve deeper into the unique aspects of Six's artificial intelligence and how his need to communicate with other robots may have an evolutionary effect on other robots. They go into what is discussions on problematic theory, what is programmed, what is learned, what is evolution of the program on its own, all kinds of things. And so if you're not into that kind of deep philosophical and heavy science, readers who want more action are going to find their minds wandering in this issue. This is the volume that will have the most appeal for the science tech nerd readers out there. Once an opening battle is done, the remainder of the volume is almost all dialogue where the characters theorize, debate, and argue about the true nature of artificial intelligence and its potentials when taken to the extreme. Now, myself, I like these discussions, but I didn't need like 120 pages out of 208 being that in a comic book. I found that to be a pacing issue. A lot of this content could have been touched upon much earlier in the series. About the only place it was seen before was last volume, where I just showed you Umataro and Hiroshi arguing in front of the college faculty over the point of their experiments. That was like the major one. So this issue kind of really dragged in that respect, but you do have to do the info dump, and you do have to get these points of discussion across to the audience as the series progressions, because that's part of what 6 is how is he evolving and what's his artificial intelligence. Is he ever going to become a real boy? If he becomes Astro Boy, whatever. I just kind of wish they'd done it more in little chunks instead of a big full, almost a whole issue of it. So I do hope, I understand why it was done. I just hope things pick up in volumes 5 and 6, because again, there's a lot of talking heads, and the humans are the least interesting characters in the book, in my opinion. I give this one a 3 out of 5, but it could justifiably get even lower of a score, given how many talking head type conversations this is. It really isn't about the action, and it depends on what you're looking for out of this series. You might think it deserves even less. Let's take a quick look at issue 4 or volume 4. Chris said the art was pretty good. Yeah. As you can kind of see, it's just conversations back and forth. And yes, he does a good job of different positions and angles to try and make it more active in a way. I mean, Umataro just like screaming everything he said. It's just about, trying to make it feel like there's force and action going on, but really it's just talk, And that's why it gets a little bit boring in the back end. Now, in the front end, where you get the action sequence of the character, that's okay. Mm-hmm. You get some nice. It won't clean out, tighten up for the camera, I guess, but. But overall, it's again, you get back to the humans, it's almost, talky talk. Again, I'd like to see a little more action with the humans, but the fight sequence between 6 and Ivan is pretty cool. As you can see, he's like spinning around, swinging a giant tree trunk around. That's pretty cool. Okay. So that's pretty much my review for this week. Next week, we're going to review for issues 5 and 6, or volumes 5 and 6. Looking forward to reading it. I still like the cat. I don't know if you guys remember the cat character. I'll have to talk about more about him next week. I haven't read these issues yet, so hopefully these will be good. I do like the robot character designs that are being designed for the issue and stuff. So they look interesting and engaging. I just wish there was a little bit more going on with the humans, I guess. Okay, tomorrow is crowdfunding night. We're going to talk about books I received. We're going to do some unboxing. Chris and I are going to be doing reviews of recently received crowdfunded books. We're going to be talking about J.M. DeMatteis's books, Wisdom, Edward Bloom Mysteries, and Layla in the Lands of After, I believe. And we're also going to talk about, I can't find the piece of paper it's on, but, here it is, I think. Yes. We're going to be talking about Vampire Ono 1 and 2. That's also on Kickstarter, which is from Antarctic. So that's what we're talking about tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, we'll have our regular events going on. Our regular review night is Thursdays at 9. And then Friday, we'll be doing our movie week. Our movie of the week is Cthulhu related. I remember that. I don't remember the exact name of the film. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. H.P. Lovecraft's The Whisper in Darkness. That's what it is. So that's what that will be in. I think it's Cthulhu. It might not be Cthulhu, but it's definitely H.P. Lovecraft. That's what we'll be doing next week for that. Coming up here for the week. So if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven. Again, if you want to read my thoughts on Peter David and his passing, that's where you go to find that. You can also find me at the Muskrat Channel X at LewisBrightRave2. You can find my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. I'm watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven exclusively on YouTube. If you have questions, comments, suggestions for content, email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com. If I don't get back to you, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. That's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Quoth the Raven, nevermore.